All right. Really proud of our guys in a short week, getting a lot of stuff done. Obviously, we had to dial back a little bit of the physicality, but our guys have been in extra this week, trying to get a jump on Washington State. We got a great challenge again this week, another top 10 team. It seems like every week we play one of those, but that's life in the Pac-12. We've got some terrific football here, and it's what makes our guys want to come to a Pac-12 school, is the opportunity to play against great schools and try to measure ourselves against them. So we're excited about being back home in front of our home crowd. Hopefully we can give some inspiration to the people that are going through some tough times right now with the Fires. So with that, any questions?
Another top 10 team, another NFL quarterback. What are your impressions been of Falk on tape?
Really impressive guy. I think he's got tremendous poise. Obviously the arm strength is there. Really impressed with their crew of receivers. They've got guys that, you talk about 50-50 balls. It seems like they make about 80% of the catches when they have 50-50 balls. So it's really impressive to see. He plays with a ton of confidence, puts some balls in some tough spots, and his guys come down with it. So it's quite a challenge for us. We're going to have to really do a nice job on the back end.
You mentioned their receiving core. It seems like every week they have 10 or 12 guys who catch a ball. Is it as deep as it seems on paper?
It seems that way because, typically you've got one or two guys and it's okay, how do we take these guys away? But you're right. They've got a corral of guys that are explosive. They're going to get the ball out of his hands a lot of times early, so you worry about, are we going to, pressure them, and then you waste guys, and then as soon as you don't, they take their shots. And it's really important for us, I think, to change the tempo on Falk and try to hopefully, have him think a little bit after the ball snapped.
How do you change? I mean, obviously on offense, you can snap the ball quicker. How does changing tempo work on defense?
Well, changing tempo for us is changing that clock in a quarterback's head. Whether we rush 3 or we rush 7, that's going to change the time that he's going to get the ball out of his hands. A lot of times what they'll do is it's all predetermined. It's get on the ball quick. So you got to be judicious on when you're trying to do it, and the spot of the field and the down distance situation.
They've got a lot of running backs who can catch the ball out of the backfield. What kind of threat does that pose for you?
Well, it's again they're getting 2 back sets, and they'll run the ball a little bit more, but they're receivers, and so they can get in empty, or they can scat those backs out right now. Something that we're trying to do is figure out ways to keep those backs in. Whether it's by bringing an extra guy or what, but they're impressive. They break a ton of tackles. They have really good hands. They're really good extensions of their offense.
What are they have some wide splits on the offensive line. What do those force you to do?
Well, there's a couple things. I think they do that to open up holes in the running game, and it also gives him windows. And so I think we got to change looks up with them. Obviously our base, we're a 3-man front team. I think they want to oversplit you at times to run the inside zone. And so we'll have to bounce back and forth between our fronts.
They've got a massive guard, Cody O'Connell.
Yeah, massive's a good word.
The laughter speaks to, but I mean, what jumps off?
Other than his massiveness.
Yeah.
He's really athletic for a guy that size. That was the thing that impressed me. He can get up to the second level in the run game. He's fairly light on his feet for a big guy. So, I mean, is he a senior this year?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Don't have to worry about him 1 year.
When they do run those inside zone, is it taking advantage of him, or is it distributed pretty
well? I think they do a nice job of mixing it up, but he's been impressive. He'll come off of a double team and get on up to the linebackers, and a lot of guys that big look a little bit awkward, and he doesn't. He does a nice job sinking his hips.
How many 6'9", 360-pound guards have you seen in your career?
I think this is the only one I've seen. I hope not to see a ton more, so at least not with his athleticism.
Darren was talking about communication issues after the Washington game. How do you go about addressing that this week?
Well, it's simple. Our guys, we're not expanding our package a whole lot. When you deal with tempo, and we go against it every day in practice, you've got to be able to get lined up, communicate what the call needs to be, whatever adjustments we have to play off of it, and get ready to go. What happens is when you get on your heels a little bit, if you've given up a play or two or a first down, guys start wondering what happened that last play, and they can't focus. It's about training our guys to forget the last play. Let's train on our eyes on this play, and let's get it communicated quickly and effectively.
Coach was saying after Saturday's game that he thought he'd learned so much about the team in the next 48 hours. What have they shown you, or what have you learned from them this week as they've prepped?
Well, I'll tell you, I really like the work ethic of this group. they're almost like a young group where they don't have much of a conscience. Hey, let's flush last week and let's go to work. Sometimes you get in the midst of a 3-game losing streak and guys start worrying about things. And our guys have come out and practiced just like they have every week, and just been impressed with their resolve that way.
What has Darius Allensworth done to kind of work his way into more reps?
Well, it's about production. Early on, some of the younger guys were performing better than him, and they've hit kind of a little bit of a plateau. So he's earned more reps, and he's made some plays when he's had the opportunity, and that's ultimately what it's all about is who's going to make the play in a game situation. And the fact that he's been in game situations, I think, gives him confidence that he can do that. Some guys just have a knack. I mean, he was Johnny on the spot last week.
Are you encouraged at least a little bit that obviously Washington State throws the ball a lot, and arguably the deepest part of your defense is your back end? Then they haven't really gotten a chance to do much the last 2 weeks. Is that a little bit encouraging?
I don't know. When you play one of the top teams in the country offensively, they run a very difficult scheme. It's like one of those careful what you wish for things, because they do a tremendous job, and then they run the ball just enough to keep you honest. And so you can't just totally sell out and play coverage. You've got to, at least on early downs, be able to defend the run and pass. And, we're going to put some stress on guys, and we just got to mix up who we're going to put the stress on. Sometimes we're going to, roll a coverage to a guy to help him, and other times he's going to have to pony up and be on his own.
How much has Darius shown you this year that there's some guys who, if they got beat out for a spot, that would pout or feel sorry for themselves, but he seems to keep fighting?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. When you come in as a new staff and there's a senior who started, a year or two in before, when he finds out that maybe he's not starting early in the year, they can easily go in the tank and become a cancer. I know Coach Alexander's talked to him about that, and he has responded in a great way. Never saw that from him. He's a guy that kept on working. We've talked to him about, hey, you never know when you get that shot again. Keep practicing like you're a starter. He did, and he's getting the opportunities because we're constantly evaluating, and nobody inherits a position. It's about productivity.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.